Hi, this is DigitalCT Editor Rich Sampson, and welcome to the Michigan Transit Tour edition of DigitalCT Magazine. This is our annual state edition of the magazine, which is one of our more popular and well-received editions each year. Our executive director here at CTA, Scott Bogan, and myself drive around a given state and visit anywhere from a half dozen to 10 transit systems of all sizes each year, and it's really one of the highlights. It gets us out of Washington and lets us experience what is actually going on in our communities and our members' systems. And we have more credibility when we come back to DC to be your advocates for policy and legislative changes back here. And this time around was no exception to the great work that our members are doing all around the country and especially in Michigan this year. We visited systems of all sizes, from small rural operations to the biggest systems in Detroit, and everywhere in between: small urban systems, specialized providers, non-emergency medical transportation, even a ferry boat operation across Lake Charlevoix up near Boyne City. So we visited 6 systems total: Altran up in Munising, Clare and Roscommon counties in Harrison, Michigan, Charlevoix County Transit in Boyne City. We visited Hope Network just outside of Grand Rapids, Macatawa Area Express, also known as MAX, in Holland, Michigan, and wrapped up our on-site visit in Allegan County, down in between Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo. And then we had our members from the Blue Water Transportation Authority in Port Huron, check in, along with Yates Dial-A-Ride in Idlewild, Michigan. So a good dozen profiles of transit providers in Michigan, as well as some updates on what's going on in Midland from our former colleague here at CTA, Kelly Shawn, who's working with various Midland providers and organizations to improve services both in the city and county of Midland. We found a lot of interesting and common elements among these providers. First of all, in Michigan, a lot of systems are funded locally through millages, where they have to go to the voters every couple of years to get local funding reaffirmed by voters. And most of these systems have an excellent track record in getting high levels of support. And that means they have to always be reaching out with voters and elected officials to keep tabs on their needs and reinforce the value of the service they provide. So that really keeps them on their toes every few years. But it can also mean you're playing the political game very often, which can be tiring at times and very frustrating at others. Another thing that we found among Michigan transit providers is their reliance on very innovative approaches and technologies and strategies to kind of best meet the needs of their populations, and whether that's providing a lot of service. In many rural areas, sometimes the service never stops from 2 a.m. until they come back around just after midnight. It's a kind of an all-day operation in the worst weather and the best of weather. And a lot of that is due to Michigan's really surprising and many times overlooked natural beauty, especially as you get out of the industrial parts of the state, up north in the Upper Peninsula. There's some really impressive natural features, parks that a number of our systems are responding to and generating a lot of ridership from. So we applaud those providers for really going to provide extensive service in their communities, and they're being rewarded by people voting with their feet. We're really excited to be in Michigan this year in advance of Expo 2017 in Detroit this coming June. And a lot of the providers and leaders from the systems will be presenting and otherwise appearing at Expo. And we're going to get a chance to share some of those strategies and locally grown initiatives that have worked here in Michigan that are adaptable and can be models elsewhere. So you'll see these folks appearing throughout Expo Week. We're also going to do some interesting things coming up at Expo, some tours getting you off-site, a look at the future of mobility in Mobility Rising. That's a 2-day conference to start off the week in Michigan. And also our Networking Thursday at Expo, where a lot of the providers you'll hear from Michigan will break down into their topical CTN membership categories: rural, small urban, specialized, and NEMT in the later half of Thursday afternoon. So that's another chance you'll get to meet some of these folks that we profile in person. We want to thank all our members we met with and the ones that we didn't as well. We can only meet so many systems over the course of just a 3-day week in this case. So we apologize to all our members that we couldn't come visit this year. We hope to catch you around soon. But we do think that the stories that we share in this edition are reflective of the work that's going on in mass across the state. So we do appreciate all our 53 members, whether they're vendors, providers, or individuals across Michigan, one of our best states for membership across the country. So again, thank you for tuning in to this edition of DigitalCT Magazine and the Michigan Transit Tour. We hope you find it interesting and enjoyable as we did when we were there. And next up in DigitalCT will be a look at procurement issues, day-to-day, very nuanced topic that most of our members have challenge with negotiating the various rules and regulations. And we'll also be taking a look at what the incoming Trump administration is going to be doing here in Washington and share some of our legislative priorities for the coming year. And actually do get involved in those too. So stay tuned in about mid-February for that edition of DigitalCT. So this is Rich Sampson, editor of DigitalCT, signing out for today. Thank you.